Hi everybody, I just want to give you a little look at some of the things that are happening in my indoor gardening system here. A couple of things that I have purchased recently that will be a help in the garden this summer in the hoop house and the garden beds outside. And a little item that I just acquired that's quite a help with the hydroponics, at least in measuring the nutrients that go into the hydroponic system. I've also taken a little look at planting some of the early seedlings, some things that need to be planted early because they're slow to germinate and slow to grow, so they'll be a good size when it's time to transplant them. These will be going into the hoop house. But I want to show you what I do for bottom heat, which is very important in starting seedlings. You get much quicker germination if they have some bottom heat. And last year I found a cheap way around that without buying one of these heat mats, which aren't all that expensive, I guess, but I found something laying around the house that worked just as well, so I'll give you a
I did quite a pruning job on the basil, and this is the base of it that we're looking at here now, if I can keep it in focus. Those are the first two leaves, the seed leaves, or I guess the proper term is cotyledons. Once I trimmed off the top, little branches have started to come out on both sides of the stalk there. And if I can swing up here a bit, I cut the plant down to only having two large leaves, and in both places, on both sides where the leaf comes out, there's two more branches coming up there. So looks like the basil plant is going to branch out and be a little bushier. I'll give you a look at the roots on this thing if I can. I'm going to try to lift it up out of the water to show you the roots on the aerogarden. I never know quite what's going to happen with the light here. Then the light behind and then the light above from the aerogarden itself, but I'll try to lift this up out of here. It's got quite an incredible root system. You can see that, yes, that shows them, I guess. The least is the thyme plant, but still it's developed a lot of roots too. And the basil and the dill have really got a terrific root system on them, so quite pleased with that. Roots are developing also on the hydroponic setup upstairs in the under the light garden, but not quite as dramatic as this one, I guess. Well, we're back in the basement looking at my artichoke plant, which hasn't changed that much since the last time I showed it to you, but what I'm here to try to demonstrate is a new acquisition here of a pH meter. I watched Rob Bob from Australia. If you watch his videos, he was using one. So I know last year, for the first time in a number of years, I put some agricultural lime on a lot of my garden beds, vegetable garden beds, and I seem to get much better crops on several items that I'd had difficulty with in the past. So I suspect that my garden soil is a little on the acidic side, and with this I'll be able to tell what the level is. It's very cheap, I think $16, $17 I paid for this thing. The probe goes into the soil. You wet the soil really well first. And what I'm checking is the soil for the artichoke. There's a sheet that comes with it that lists a lot of common garden plants, flowers, vegetables, etc., and lets you know what the pH range should be for each plant. For artichoke, 6.5 to 7.5 is the range, so it likes a very alkaline soil, which is typical of where it grows in the Mediterranean region. Fig trees like a very alkaline soil as well, because they're native of the Mediterranean region, which is very chalky soil. Anyway, I will stick the probe in here. I have wet the soil previously, and it's going, well, it's between 6.5 and 7, so they're still dropping back a bit there. It's still above 6.5, so the range is 6.5 to 7.5, so This is within the comfort range of an artichoke, so I guess that's why it's doing so well. Well, that's toy number one. Shortly I'll show you the second little toy that I've recently purchased. Well, that's a tray of seeds that I just planted yesterday. Two different kinds of peppers. One a sweet bell pepper, a hybrid that I haven't grown before, and the other is a Hungarian wax, hot pepper, which I guess I haven't grown those before either. And I also planted a few of the okra seeds, 4 I think. I probably only want one of them. I've been told that they grow very large and don't want to take over the hoop house. I planted so many things in there last year that exploded and took over the space. I'm trying to be a little more conservative with it this year. But what I'm showing you here, as you can see that there's bottom heat because the soil has warmed up and there's lots of condensation on the dome here over this tray. I can get this out of here without dumping it on the floor. This is just simply a old heating pad. And when I say old, I mean old. I guess it's probably 25 years old anyway. I found it kicking around in the back of a closet. It had a removable cloth covering, I suppose removable so you could wash it and keep it clean. And it's completely sealed. It's plastic. Of course it would be completely sealed or it would be dangerous for a person to use as a heating pad. If you've got water on it, you get a shock out of it. I have it set on the very lowest setting. And like I say, I used it last year. It works great. It's barely warm, but it warms the soil. So if you've got an old heating pad around that you're not using, you might want to give that a try for bottom heat. And as I say, it is set on the lowest possible setting, but so far it's been working very well, and I didn't have to buy one of those commercially made bottom heat pads. Just a little look at the onion trays here, the seedlings that I've started. These are 2 of the cells that didn't have any germination in them, and I've put 2 seeds, as you may remember from my last video here. I put 2 seeds in each of the cells that failed, and at least both seeds have germinated and come up, but that's not too serious a problem. If I want to, I can clip one off, I guess. The seedlings have had 1 haircut, and probably due for another one here in a day or 2, but as soon as you cut them back, like that's the one that I cut there, they branch out and send out a second leaf. I guess you call it a leaf on an onion plant. Anyway, that has happened here in several locations, if I can show you. There they are. So that's the onions, and they are up and doing well. And I think in both trays now I have a seedling in every compartment, so that's a good start there. And as I said, I will be giving these their second haircut probably this week sometime. Just a little look at some of the growth that's been happening in the past week with the hydroponics setup here. Not bad. And now I'll see if I can lock this tripod into place here and give you a look at the roots. I hope will show up with the light behind it there coming from the window. Not as exciting as the ones in the aerogarden, but guess you can see those, or if I get my arm in the way. Considering that a week ago there was just 1 or 2 little roots starting to show up, this is quite remarkable growth. Well, I will change the water and get ready to put the nutrients in and come back and show you my last little toy tool that I bought for measuring the nutrients. AeroGarden had a sale on, which isn't anything terribly new. I seem to get 2 or 3 emails from them every week about their sales. But anyway, I didn't really need anything from AeroGarden, but there were some things that were on sale that I eventually will use, so I ordered them. And along with it, I ordered 3 of what they call their Easy Feed nutrient dispensers. You know, there was a photograph it on the website so you knew exactly what it was. But this is their Easy Feed nutrient dispenser, which looks a lot like a hypodermic syringe without the needle. The part they jab you with wasn't provided. But it's graduated metrically so that you can measure the milliliters that you need. Milliliter and a cc, I guess, are the same thing. And that's what it says on here anyway. And this is the last of the three. I need 20 milliliters of the Flora Bloom this week. And there's 40 each of the Flora Micro and the Flora Grow. Anyway, that concludes this little video. Thank you very much for watching.